What's going on, guys? Wanted to do a walkthrough on how to completely set up a website for your team, your club, your program, whatever have that you have really a need for to kind of have a web presence. And where this comes from is as we kind of went through this first half of the live period, notice a lot of clubs didn't have websites or didn't have websites that it was easy to navigate and get information on players or really anything, and kind of doing a little bit of a disservice to your players by not having that presence, or you just need to get information out to parents and coaches a little bit easier. Sometimes I think websites can be a little overwhelming or look more challenging than they really are. But hopefully I can kind of walk you through kind of the basics of everything and give you some confidence and show you where you can save some money and how it can be not a super expensive thing to have a pretty legitimate presence here. And so we're going to start off all the way to starting off with purchasing a domain and kind of a website name, getting website hosting, which is how your website gets kind of sent to the end user, connecting those two things, installing WordPress, and which is a content management system or a CMS, and which is a really popular content management system, which will make your life easier and it's super flexible. It runs like 40% of all websites on the web right now. And then we'll even set up kind of contact forms for you. And so kind of walk you through how this all works and hopefully um, help you out as you're kind of either already have a club and just need a website or you're kind of building one. And so the first things first is you got to decide on a name. And I like to use Google Domains, and it's just domains.google. The reason I like Google Domains is they don't try to like upsell you as much as the other website um, companies, I guess, try to do. Like GoDaddy, you can buy from them. They'll try to upsell you like 800 different things. And so you just put in your name. So maybe we'll do test club team. We'll see if that's even available. And you can see it's going to pop up with our options. You can change to all endings and see all the opportunities that you have, or so on and so forth. I've already put one in my cart, and it is for Collins Elite. Perhaps we're going to make a club here. And it's going to ask you, do you want privacy protection? Yes, you do. Do you want to auto renew? That's up to you. Obviously, if you don't auto renew, you can end up losing your website name, and it's just going to be $12 a year. They're going to ask if you want email, and it's not necessarily, you could use email. You can choose their business starter, which is all you need. $6 a user a month. Um, but I'm actually going to show you a way that you can set up an email, I guess kind of for free. So you don't need the Google email, but it is a fair option. And then you can just check out $12 total a year is all you're going to spend on a domain. Now, I'm going to give you an offer here and explain it with hosting. I can handle all of this for you, and I'll kind of explain that as we go. But that's what that's going to look like. And once you have your domain purchased, it's going to look like this. For this demo, I just purchased my own name because why not? Spent the same $12 that you would, and it's going to look something like this. The next big piece we have to decide on is how we are going to host or what web hosting we are going to use. And this is probably maybe the most complicated part because there's about 800 different web hosts out there. So you just search web hosting, there's going to be 100 things that pop up at various different prices and kind of um, I guess some I wouldn't call it. It's a little shady, I guess, but you got to pay attention to it a little bit. They offer this ridiculous kind of intro price, and then they kind of renew you at a significantly higher rate. I guess it's sort of we'll call it the um, Comcast model, if you will. So if you look here, I just picked a random hodgepodge of the first ones that popped up here. Um, on this is Bluehost, if you wanted WordPress hosting, which is also the same essentially as shared hosting, there's different options. All you'll need if you do want to host on your own is shared hosting. Now you can see kind of how they get you. They lock you into a 36-month term, and they tell you it's going to be $275 a month, but you got to pay all 36 ahead of time. And then they're going to renew you at $9 a month. And depending on what level you decide that you need, they could get you all the way up to 27, which is crazy. That's way too much money. Similarly, pro versus regular. Shared hosting, this baby plan, now $65 or 65% off. It's $350. They're going to renew you at, let's see if it'll show. I bet it's probably like $10 or so. And that's more math than I want to do. But you're eating $185 there for 30 minutes. Oh, yep, $10 is the renewal price. SiteGround, who's actually one of the better hosting companies out there, there's the same thing. $4.99 a month. They're going to upsell you. You're going to recount 15. Okay, and so it can be a little bit challenging. The nice thing is that if you know about this, you can kind of manage it and you can negotiate with these companies, which I've been doing. So if you'd like, I can host this and actually get you through a lot of these like first, 15 minutes of steps. I'll manage your hosting, I'll set up your email, and I'll make sure that your websites stay updated and you don't have to deal with a lot of this kind of technical stuff. I'll do it for you for $10 a month, and you can pay that all up front for a year, whatever you need. I'm just trying to kind of help you guys out and make your lives a little bit easier, and you don't have to deal with this upcharge and trying to understand what all this is. If you want to go with these hosts, SiteGround does do a really good job. They've got good support. DreamHost and Bluehost are pretty popular. They're massive companies that are relatively affordable. There's a lot of options. There really are, and I can help you set that up. Okay. So for this, I'm going to use my hosting, obviously, which is through a company called Geek Storage. It's incredibly fair. I got in with them earlier and when they were newer, and they're a small company, so I just do a lot of my more simple or test sites on this. So what I've done is I've already created an account, and this is the kind of account administrative area. It's called cPanel. Most hosts, whether you use Geek Storage or anything else, will have cPanel or something that's very similar, and you can check before you sign up as well. Again, if you don't want to deal with this, you just let me know and I can help you kind of set that all up or just do it for you through my hosting. Okay, but this web hosting is what gives it to the public, and so we need to connect our name to our hosting, and how we do that is through the name servers of the domain. And so yours will usually say your domain is using these settings. Okay, actually it's going to start like this. I want to use custom, and I want to click switch to these settings at custom, and then I want to go to name servers, and it's going to manage name servers, and mine are already actually in here. So your name servers will come to you in an email from your web host if you decide to do that, depending on the web host. Many are just simple like this, ns1.geekstorage.com. The bigger web hosts, they usually have pretty complicated name server names. Again, that's just going to be sent to you, or you can just reach out to your host. I'm going to save that. But essentially what this is telling this is that if I type in matthoward.com, you need to go look at it at this hosting site, essentially. And so now you can see it's failed because I don't have anything loaded. So now what I need to do is tell the hosting site, this cPanel, that, hey, we're sending a website to you. You need to serve up those files and all that information. So what I need to do is set an add-on domain. If this is the only account you have and you created it kind of when you signed up and you put in your domain name already, you don't have to follow this step, but if you have multiple domain names, you might have to. So all I'm going to do, matthauer.com, it's going to create a subdomain. Perfect. I'm going to add that domain. And as you can see, sometimes it takes a second. Like I said, this isn't the speediest of web hosts, but it does a solid job. It has good uptime, so that's how it goes. Should be set up shortly here. Come on. Perfect. There we go. Add-on domain has been created. So now the website server knows to be ready to receive that email. Next thing I'm going to do is add security. So like any website you're on is now secure with SSL is what it's called. And essentially it keeps hackers from kind of getting in between the data flow. And so if you're checking out on a website, really any website you use now has this SSL. And it's so important now that Google won't rank you very well in searches on Google if you don't have that set up. And so cPanel makes it real easy. If you scroll down, I just scrolled down to the security tab here. There's this button, Let's Encrypt SSL. And it's going to have all the domains that you have in your account. I'm going to issue my certificate to my domain, and it's going to just go with the default settings, issue, and it's going to roll through. Again, this could take 30 seconds to a minute while it spins and works on issuing that SSL and making sure it's all set up. Again, it kind of depends on your host and how many processes are going on in that environment on that host. But this is an important step. Again, keeps things secure, especially if you're going to end up accepting credit card payments or things like that. Credit card companies won't usually actually let that SSL happen. And I guess this is a good lesson of if you're ever checking out from a website, always check here in the top left that your connection is secure. You'll see it on essentially every thing that you go to. If you go Amazon, everything's going to be secure for you. There's very few sites that you can actually get to without it passing through that security there. So definitely an important kind of little detail to attend to. And it should be done here any second. There we go. Perfect. And it's been installed. Excellent. Okay, so now I've got that set up. Now I want to set up an email account to this. I, again, am just in my cPanel. I'm going to set my email account. I'm going to create. I'm going to select the domain that I want to use. I'm just going to put in my name. You can put in info. You can put in anything. I'm going to create a password. Tells you if your password, and then you can check optional settings. Okay. If you're able to work with me and you want to do the $10 a month where I manage everything for you, you'll get 1 gigabyte of space for your email. And you just create it, and then you essentially get a webmail system and also a system that you can set up on your phone, on your calendar, similar to this, where you can send and receive emails from your custom domain that we just set up for you. So again, all this is stuff that I can do automatically for you if you don't want to deal with those hosting companies on your own and just kind of run it through me. So we've got email, we've got our domain connected, and now we got to get our website rolling here. So I'm again from my cPanel scroll down to software. I'm going to click WordPress Manager by Softalicious, or however you say that. It's going to come up, and I'm going to install here. Excuse me. I'm going to select my domain. I'm going to take this out of the directory. So HTTPS, that's the secure protocol. My domain, nothing in the directory. The most recent version it has. My website name here. Whatever official website of Matt Hauer. I could type, there we go. Oh. I'm going to select my username. You can click any username because it's your own install. And then I'm going to create my password. And you can just set the admin email as the email you just created. I'm going to select limit login attempts, and then I'm going to go from there. And I'm going to leave all the other stuff, just the basics. Limit login attempts keeps you from having that, like a brute force attack is what it's called. I'm going to click install. And usually this goes pretty quick. Uh-oh. I'm going to overwrite these. You won't get this error. I was just messing with this earlier. And so select the checkbox and override. So now I want to install it, and that should roll properly now. Like I said, you won't get that error. I had already installed this once just to check everything before this. So that's why I got that error. But now it's going to tell you you can go to your website. And we've got basically a live website. So anytime you want to log into your website in the back end here using a WordPress website, all you have to do is go to your website name. So in this case, matthauer.com/wp-admin. And it will get you to this exact screen. You put in the login credentials you just created, and we are now in the back end of a WordPress. And now I don't have to deal with any of that cPanel stuff or that connection. Okay, and this is where I'll get you to. If you want to skip those first steps and host with me, like I said, this is where I'll get you to and get you a nice fresh install, and then you can kind of follow the steps as you'd like. But that is, like I said, up to you. I'm going to go ahead and close out these parts because I don't need them anymore. And the first thing I'm going to do is come to my plugins. I don't need this anymore. I'm going to delete it. I'm going to delete all of these because they actually, again, are from my old install. So you can get the full directions here. And I just will have this loginizer here. Okay, that's again that brute force blocker that we put in. Okay, and so I need three things here. Well, actually, technically only two, but kind of 2.5. Is I first want to install a page builder, and the page builder I like to use right now is Brizy, and so I just typed Brizy into the search, and this page builder came up. If you're going to use the hosting that I'll set up for you, I'll install this automatically for you, and I'll also give you the pro version because I have a lot of account access on that, which just gives you a few extra options. Okay, I'm going to add in the pro version automatically by uploading it. You can't just search the pro version. The free version gives you a lot of options as well, just not quite as many. I'm going to activate, and then I'm going to add a form plugin called Ninja Forms. Same thing, just searched it. It's going to come up as the first one. I'm going to install that and activate. And the Ninja Forms allows you to create forms on your website in a real easy kind of visual builder. Take registrations, take emails, kind of a classic contact form. In my Brizy, I need to make sure it's linked to the license. I'll activate that. Again, I've got these for you if you work with me, and that's kind of where we're going to start. Next piece here is you want to come to your themes. Okay, I'm going to delete this. This is from my first example. These are the 3 themes that you are going to have. Okay, they work great when you have a page builder. It doesn't really matter what theme you want to use. I like to delete the excess themes just because you don't necessarily need them to start. And then I'm going to click Add New. Okay, and the WordPress theme that you or that I like to use is Generate Press. Type that in, click Install, and activate. And that will pop up right here. The reason I like Generate Press is because it has, it's like a well-coded theme and it's super light, so it makes your websites fast. And again, because we're using the Brizy page builder, it doesn't quite make a difference. Okay, and so now I'm going to come to my pages. I'm going to delete my sample page because I don't need that anymore. And I'm going to start to make my first set of pages. I'm going to click Home. I'm going to click Publish. And that's going to start to be created. I'm going to click back to my WordPress here. Then we'll say I want an About page. Click Publish. And once that's published, I'll go back. We're going to do 2 teams, and I'm going to show you. Well, we'll do one. 17U girls. Publish, publish. Go back, and then the final one I'll show you is contact, and that's where we'll use kind of those ninja forms. And publish. Okay. So I've got my 4 pages, I guess, that I want. Again, you can create an infinite number of pages and whatever you need. WordPress is so flexible. You could create a store using WooCommerce, and there's a lot of really good tutorials on that. And so now I'm going to set some things in my settings. First thing I'm going to go is settings and then reading. I want to make a static page my home page. I'm going to click save. So what that's going to do is if I go to MattPower.com, I'm going to eventually here have a page. Then I'm going to go permalinks. I like to make it so post name is the default, and that will set that as well. Then the last thing I'm going to do here is appearance and menus, and I'm going to create my first menu. So it automatically created or added in some of the things that I want, but I want to adjust mine just slightly. I just click and drag. I want my about up there. Then I'm going to go custom link here. I'm just going to put a hashtag or a pound sign, depending on how old you are, and then link text as teams. The hashtag or pound sign keeps that from actually being a button, but it's going to be a mark. And so now I'm creating a drop down. I'm going to move my teams right above my 17U. I'm going to slide it over, and you can see it kind of click over, drop, and now it's going to tell that thing that I want a drop down there. Okay, boom. Now it's time to build our pages. I'm going to go back to my pages. I'm going to start on my home page. I'm going to click Edit with Brizy. This is my page builder that I've been working on, and it's going to start to load through our page builder that we installed. And again, this page builder is super nice, lots of cool little features, and super simple. The first thing I'd suggest here is set some kind of default colors, and you can select colors that they kind of already exist, or what you can do is create your own color code. These are kind of default colors that anytime you make an element one of these colors, if you bulk change, it allows you to bulk change it. So if I wanted all of a sudden all those elements I set is this kind of dark blue, I wanted them to be green, it would kick over to green automatically. You can change your paragraph text, your heading text. Maybe I want my heading text, I like blinker, and we want it to be bold. Yeah, we'll go semi-bold. And it's going to kind of have a life. You can also add extra pieces if you really wanted to. Okay, I can update there just to make sure those save. And now you want to start building your page. And so the first thing you want to start out with is a header. And the amazing thing about Brizy is they give you a lot of these things automatically. So I'm going to come over to my header. I'm going to pick a nice simple kind of just menu piece here. I click on that company, select a menu here from the elements option, which I always struggle to header sticky. I want to make it global as well. And then, oops, don't want to add Brizy Cloud. Come on. I'm going to just add it manually here. Grab our menu, drag and drop it right there. About, home, about, teams, contact, just like we had there. Okay, if you want to mess with some styling things, you can, but I would leave that alone. Okay, and so now we can change our logo. If you want to, you just click on the logo. You can change the sizing of things. Maybe you want your logo to be a little bit bigger. Click here. You can change the image to anything that you want to upload. But I'm going to leave it as that just company for now. Okay, the next thing here is we can kind of create a header. And I'm going to create my own one. So select create my own. I want to have a nice big, background image here. I'm going to click here on this kind of like half square covered in. I'm going to grab an image. I'm going to upload. I just pulled this image a second ago, the Troy Gym. We'll take a second to upload. This image is way bigger than it really should be, but it gives you kind of a demo. I can change some filters here if I wanted to take it and make it a little darker or a little more contrast. Maybe I want to take the color away there. Maybe I want to make it a little bit more like a blue haze. I don't know. A little red there. You get a lot of options. Then I want to add an element in here. And the element I want to add is text. And it's going to come up with just basic default filler text. I'm going to write welcome to my team's website. And then I want this to be a header. So I'm going to highlight it, click on the T. We're going to make this a heading. And it's going to, again, match that heading thing I had earlier. And then I'm going to make this that kind of white. You can go in and change, the spacing. I'm going to give it a little bit of space on top, a little bit of space on bottom. You can even, add more info. We can, this is going to change it, make that smaller, so on and so forth. Essentially, you can do anything. Then I'm going to add in some more text. Maybe you're going to do a drop-down FAQs, frequently asked questions. How much does it cost? Winter tryouts. Who knows? Whatever you want. This is super flexible. You can do anything here. Again, changing the colors. And this is where I said here, this is auto selected on that green. If I were to come over to my green here and I want it to be purple, there's automatically changing to purple, so on and so forth. Click update and it's going to roll. If I go preview here, we can start to see my live website. Okay, loading super quick. We've got our little drop down, little navigation thing that we just created. We've got our about page that we still have to work on. We've got our teams in our drop down, those 17 new girls, and we've got our contact page. So we're rolling already. Okay, maybe the last element you want to add is a footer. Gives you a lot of options. Again, just kind of default basic footers. They got good suggestions. We'll select that. Again, let's see here if we can actually select our menu properly here. Of course, it's not going to let me select this correctly the first time. I want an extra option there. You can split it, you can see. We'll add in our menu again, just manually. And we can delete that. Home, teams, company, all rights reserved. I want to make this, again, a global element because I want my footer on every page, of course. And so make it global. Perfect. Update. And we're good to go. Now I'm going to go back and build my other pages real quick. So I click go to dashboard. I'm going to click this little WordPress icon up here. It's eventually going to be a WordPress icon. And I'm going to work on my about page. I'm going to click edit. Edit with Brizzy again. And that same exact page builder is going to pop up. Start building my page. I start with my global header because obviously I want that header to be on every page. And now maybe I'm going to go, I'm going to do this team, and this is going to be like, maybe you're going to have a coaching section here, who your coaches are. So I'm going to change it to meet our coaches, and you can change all of this. So coach 1, you can change their image. Super simple, you just upload it. Any information down here. If you wanted to click more and actually like link to another page that was just about that coach, you could. I'm going to put it to a dead page for now just to show you. Okay, you could even come back into your elements here and you could add a button down here. Okay, lots of options there. You can come in here. We can add a new block here. Maybe we just wanted text or, you know, something fancy. This is your about. This is our mission. This is some sort of quote, a testimonial, what have you. Okay, maybe you want that at the top. We can just reorder it. Perfect. Now those switch places. And then you want your global block. You want your footer. It's going to be the same footer. Perfect. We'll update that. Okay, so now you've got essentially your about page. Let's go preview it. Make sure it looks good. Everything's going to load through here. There we go. Perfect. A couple more pages to go here. We're going to go to our 17U and we're going to set up a roster. 17U girls, click on it, edit with Brizzy. Maybe you want to start off, you can add in an image of the team. I'm just going to put in a header here. 17U Elite team. We're going to make that why don't we make that a header 2, and then I'm going to actually duplicate this. Coach John Doe. I want that smaller, so I click on it, highlight it, click my options here. Maybe I want that to be a subtitle. Perfect. Create my own again. Add a new block. This time I want a table. I'm going to click and drag my table out there. Make that smaller. And now I'm going to look at my options. I don't like the sidebar setting. It's this dark part over here, so I'm going to take it away. I'm going to go down to 2 rows just to make it easier for me. We've got, again, more spacing elements or options. I can change this color. Maybe I want it to be that light pink, whatever your team colors are. You can set these again. These are my kind of defaults, or you can just completely edit the color however you want. This is going to be, let's add another row, sorry, another column, and we'll go name, we'll go height, and why don't we put, I don't know, their Twitter, if you wanted to make it really easy for a coach to get in touch. So name, Sarah, player, height, you got a 6-foot stud here, and then you can add in really any element, but I'm just going to duplicate this. I think that's the easiest. Drag it over, and then at Twitter. Similarly here, we just duplicate, slide them down, delete that, duplicate, slide it down, delete, duplicate, slide it down. Perfect. So now I'm starting to build a roster. I guess it would be nice to have a number in there as well. Okay, and that's kind of how you build that out however you want it. We'll update and save this, and there's a start of a real simple roster. Perhaps you could put their schedule in there as well, or anytime you get a new schedule, you can go for it. If you want to go back and edit, just edit with Brizy. Okay, finally, we'll kind of add in a form here. So Ninja Forms, super easy way to create forms. You can add a new and create a form, gives you some options or some templates. You can select a blank form, and it just lets you kind of drag and drop things into it. You want to get a first name and a last name. You can collect, again, any information if you're doing camp registration, trial registration, so on and so forth in here. Okay, I'm just going to toss in a couple random ones and make it work. I'm going to click done, publish. You can change your email actions. You can change your advanced settings. Let's see, publish here, form title, test 1, publish, and it will work. You can come back and edit this later if you needed to. It's not final by any means. But once this loads through, it's going to give you one important piece, is this shortcode. That's what you want to grab. So you're going to highlight, control copy. I'm going to go over to my page, come to my contact page, edit with Brizy again. Make my life easy. I'm going to start building my page. I'm going to go to the contact category and find a nice simple one. I'll click on this one. Okay, I actually don't want their contact form, so I'm going to delete the default contact form, and I'm going to add what we grabbed was called a shortcode. So I'm going to add a shortcode in here. I'm going to click on it. It's going to ask me for a WordPress shortcode, and I'm going to paste in my shortcode. Now, it probably or almost will never load on the back end, but if I update it and I preview, I'm going to have that form I just made and those things that I put in. If I fill this out, it's already working. Just realized I need to add my global blocks here. Move this to the top, add my footer. I can update that, and that will automatically update as well. So you can see everything's loading through for me. Now you can set up a few settings. Is one, it can automatically email you anytime there's been a submission, or if you're doing again like a camp registration or something like that, you just come to your forms, your submissions, select your form. This was test 1, and there's my submission. Okay, I can export it, download it as a CSV. I can highlight a bunch and export them. I can just go to the import/export function and gives me a lot of options. Again, maybe you're getting ready for registration or something like that, checking them in, whatever. You have a lot of options. Okay, now we'll just go back and preview our site. We are, 30, 45 minutes in. We've got our home page. We've got our about page. Got a nice little learn more button that again didn't go anywhere. It's just going to reset the page. We've got our teams. The teams doesn't click anywhere, but if I click 17U Girls, it takes me to my team. I forgot to add those global features, so that doesn't work. I go to my contact, and there we go. But look at how simple this is again. Edit page with Brizy. And now I can just add in my global blocks here and drag and reorder. Add in my global block, update, and it's going to be fixed already. All right, so there you have it. Again, crash course, quite a broad overview of really start to finish. Again, if you don't want to deal with that hosting part and get kind of just to the WordPress login part and an email, let me know and I can onboard you into the hosting that I've already negotiated for. All I'd have to charge you is $10 a month. I'm not going to double the fee like all those other hosting companies do, and then I can also update it and provide you a little bit of support. So as always, feel free to reach out if you need any help. If you have any questions, I'm here to help you, and hopefully this can help you get your kids' names out there and kind of build that presence for you.